I'm on my way, y'all. Just hold for a little bit longer. Thank you. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm gonna let y'all watch a little something about castor oil. It's pretty fascinating. So let me go and I already shared my screen. I just gotta go and push play.
The castor oil plant is a common
Oh, I gotta
plant
have that
found in
too.
houses everywhere, but little do people know that it currently holds
Ah,
the Guinness Book of World title for the world's most poisonous plant. Do you know how long you have to survive after ingesting castor seeds? Is it A, 1 to 2 days, B, 3 to 6 days, or C, 7 to 14 days? The castor plant is a suckering perennial shrub with glossy leaves differing in color from green to a purple or reddish-brown tint. Its flowers are carried in spikes up to 15 centimeters long, while its fruit is a spiny capsule containing an oval, bean-like seed. Castor is indigenous to India, the southeastern Mediterranean basin, and East Africa, but is widespread throughout tropical regions. It's also widely grown elsewhere as an ornamental plant. While the oil has many uses in medicine, cosmetics, and even jewelry, its seed is highly poisonous. It produces a highly toxic chemical known as ricin, which you may have seen in the popular TV show Breaking Bad. Once ingested, symptoms usually begin within 2 to 4 hours. They include a burning sensation in the mouth and throat, intense abdominal pain, and bloody diarrhea. If left untreated, additional symptoms will occur, including severe dehydration, a drop in blood pressure, a decrease in urine, and eventual death. While no antidote currently exists for ricin poisoning, supportive medical care must be given immediately in order to get the ricin out of the body as fast as possible. Medical care includes helping them breathe, giving them intravenous fluids, giving medications to treat their low blood pressure, and flushing their stomachs with activated charcoal. So how long do you have to survive after ingesting castor seeds? If you said B, you're right. While the painful symptoms can appear in just a couple of hours, you have 3 to 6 days to get treated before death will occur. So would you rather ingest castor seeds or be attacked by an angry hippo?
what would y'all rather? I just talked out loud and it was muted. Hey. Oh shoot. Let me go hold on. Oh please. Rainbow freaking difficulty. Yeah. So it rolled over to the next video. Mm-hmm. Okay. Welcome. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for being patient. Totally. Y'all are always so patient. Let me know if if my internet is lagging also. Breathe. Yeah, right. That's the one thing like you're supposed to like automatically do, and I have to like tell myself to. I don't even know how to drop the shoulders. And I know this is, you know, it's like I have Tourette's, so I'm gonna say it because it's who I'm like a walking kegel, just all tensed up. So ha ha ha. I know it's a stupid analogy, but it's the only thing I can compare it to. One big walking kegel exercise. But anyways, so I first wanted to thank you all for being here first. Love seeing you guys. I was watching y'all chatting. Y'all crack me up. Little Brian's for sure. Wanted to thank some, uh, you know, oh my God, little that. Let me start over. wanted to thank those who were able to make monetary donations. Um, uh, it blows me and Jason's minds. We were just like, oh my God. So I'm not going to say their name because I don't know what to share, what not to share. Um, anyways, but Miss Rachel, thank you. I cannot, I wish I could run over there and just hug your neck. I'd burst into tears like we did the other day when we received the donation. Oh my God. Thank you so much from the bottom of me and Jason, mine and Jason's hearts. That was very generous and very sweet and kind, and we can't thank you enough. It surprised me. Blue, Mama, I had to hold my pearls. I had to, you know. I also want to thank Miss Vanessa. Thank you so much. Thank you, KJ, even for the video you did last night. Um, it's true. Um, it seems like when, um, like Can Dance and my friend Jenny, they've gotten threatened, really threatened, cyberbullying. And 4 years in, uh, can't you hear me? Didn't show anything. Let me know. Ever when I moved it back and forth to the hospital and back, you don't move that kind of microphone. It's coming. It's coming on here. I don't know. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? What's going on? Does it sound better? Oh, I guess I'd have to talk. Does it sound better now? Yes, yes, better, better, better. Okay. All right. Like I need anything else to distract my brain. But I was just about to say that anytime you are doing something that's good, that's right, it's the right thing to do, that's when you get the very most pushback, you get the most opposition, you get crapped on. And so you must be doing something right. That's I have to remind myself. A lot of times I try not to even go look at the comments because it 4 years in, okay, there's been some comments. So I'm just like, oh my God. So I just kind of cherry pick, and I hope I don't, it's like a gamble. But I don't get them that much, you know. It's people around me that get attacked. That pisses me off. So, way to go, person, people. And that's more than one person. There's always, just when you're doing good, people don't want you to do good. And I wish the best for everybody. My mama always told me that the sun comes up for everybody every single day, meaning you have an opportunity, just as the next person and the next person, to make it happen, Captain, you know? And so, anyways, there's that. But, and also, and I never remember if I can say it right. It's Eli or Ellie. I don't remember, but thank you also for your donation. That they really, I opened the wrong dang thing. They really that burden off of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Um, I'm looking in Venmo to see real quick to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I was, last minute opening stuff. I don't know how to work Venmo that good. Um, I think it was haunted. Thank you. Haunted. I think it was haunted. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. If okay, when mom is backstage and so I had somebody email me, Tina Reddington. She emailed me and she had said that evidence presented or found that nugget, the French press, knowing damn good and well that Chad and Lori, you don't really drink of the coffee or the hot things. I don't know. I think you could. I think you donated haunted, but for all the times you did, thank you. It's awesome. So what was I saying? What was I saying? I forgot. Oh my god, I hate this. This is when Jason's like, you said da da da. Oh yeah, Jason. Also, crap, I'm changing the subject a lot, but I do want to let y'all know that after he got released from the hospital, I had made that video. We did the live stream last Sunday. French press. Thank you. Remind me in a minute again, please. Okay, so he got out of the hospital. We came home. He got up on his own. I was just to be a hovercraft, a helicopter, I was just like, oh my God, But I think I told you all this. He laid in the bath for an hour and a half, but that's normal, Jason. And I mean, he said he had to wash all the strokes off of him. It's funny. Damn internet. Anyway, so we went to sleep. It was so awesome to sleep next to him. And then the next morning, he's like, call 911. And I'm like, what? This time was even worse. Like the strokes, that looked like 2 drops in a bucket, okay, compared to this. This was, I don't even know how to explain it. He had, I think I told you, yeah, it's all coming back to me. He had 2 ulcers that burst. And so I'm going to mess the word up. Why do I always go to asphyxiated? Y'all know what it is. Aspirated. Thank you, brain. He aspirated, and so all that fluid, the blood, went into his lungs. So he was drowning. You think I always think of Tammy in the asphyxiation thing. So that confuses me. But I don't know if I need to plug my phone in or not, if it's helping or hurting the internet. Let me wait. Oh, I didn't allow it. Damn it. Effing internet. Anyways, it is scary. It was scary because he had just had 2 strokes, just got home. And I mean, we had spent most of the time, going to Walgreens, getting medicine filled. Da, 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 da. We didn't care. Just whatever. Well, we're paying cash. It's just like another note, but more important than anything else. So he was in ICU. Oh my God. And it hit me because I was working on that video and oh yeah. Thank you, Kathy. If it'll reach. Oh God. Y'all don't laugh. Or do laugh. It's funny. Let's see. some horse shit, I'll tell you that. All right, antenna. Remember when I was a kid, my dad would tell me to go turn the antenna outside, and then he'd say, "All right, it's good." Anyways, growing up in the 80s. So anyway, so yeah, I mean, he was in ICU for a couple days, and he lost so much blood from aspirating that they gave him 3 blood transfusions. He's O negative. They were putting O positive into him. It was scary. He even said it was even more scary. But he finally got to come home. He's been home since Monday. The next day after the live stream, he came home. And I'm trying to think. He came home, and we kind of got into our routine. We got the boys. Boys came home the next day. We missed them. Oh my God, we missed them. They help. It's an adjustment for all of us. Like Jason will say, "Hey, Crush, look," and he'll do something. He'll like point or something, and I'm like, "What? What?" I forget totally that he had strokes, and we went back and watched the live stream from the hospital, the first one, and I'm like, "Look at you. You are a freak of nature. I mean, thank God. Thank you, God." Because he just defies. I wish I had his strength, his will. He's strong. He's hard-headed. I am too, but hey. But I mean, he just he would exercise. He does exercise, and he tries to make his left arm work. Physical therapy on his own. He'll be doing it. And I'm just like, "Oh, okay." And so now he can do this. He can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then he was like, "Look, he did this." And I was like, "Okay." So he can flip people off again with his left hand. Getting it back. And it's like he impresses himself, like he doesn't realize he sells himself short, and I'm just like, I already know. I just know that it's okay and everything's gonna be all right. So thank y'all so much for the prayers, the love, the support, sharing your stories. Just thank you so much. That's Thanksgiving, right? It was also Joseph Ryan's birthday. I think it was today. So I did scripture books. I didn't get to make the thumbnail thingy, but anyways, I'm gonna let the weird mom in. She's hanging out backstage. So thank you all again so much. We appreciate you. If we didn't have to do all this and I didn't already spend 26 minutes gabbing my mouth, because this is interesting. And here she comes. There's my internet sign. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Hey.
Hey.
Can you hear me? Is my internet's jacking up again?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Look at you, girl. You look snazzy, just like when you went to Vegas. I get the same thing too. I'm glad that
I didn't put any makeup. I didn't put my eyebrows on,
that.
so I'm here sans eyebrows. I didn't have time.
You don't have.
I'm just so overly optimistic about how much stuff I can get done, and then I look up like, oh my gosh, I'm late.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a procrastinator from way back.
Right.
Back. So, everybody, this is the weird mom. She's awesome.
Aloha.
She lives in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a lot of commonalities in this with Ryson. No, I'm picking.
No.
I'm joking. Not yet.
No.
Allegedly.
Yeah. It is growing in my yard though. Like it's right there. Like
that's scary. So y'all saw the little video on the intro, right? I was just like, what got me was, well, let me introduce, like, just give your background, a little, whatever you want to let people know.
Oh,
Like,
what do you like? How I got? Well, I'm from Idaho, so and I'm
there you
from
go.
that same area that all of the murders occurred. Like, so they're in Rexburg, and I'm from a little place called Idaho Falls. I'm actually from Ammon, which is right like a.
Oh,
It's almost. It's
that's
like
where
a little
Jesus is
town that's
coming
right.
back.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
So yeah, and
Ammon, Idaho.
Ammon. Yeah, it's
That's where
little.
Ian
It's
said, I'm not, he was texting back and forth with Natalie Pulowski, if y'all remember. And he
I'm
was
not
like,
moving to Ammon,
I'm not moving to Ammon. I don't
yeah,
care.
and I don't
But he
blame
moved
him.
all the way to Arizona.
Having been raised there, I don't blame him. Yes. So
Well, if Jesus is going,
right. Oh, my AirPods falling out.
Anyways, I'm
There we
sorry.
go. It's back in.
I just, I didn't even know that. That's
Right.
crazy.
And then
But
now I live over here in Hawaii. And then I actually got married in Arizona. So I lived, so all of the places this stuff has happened. And then Tylee is my daughter's age. She's a month apart from my daughter. And so, I mean, it's just like, I remember seeing like all of it happening, going back and forth to Idaho,
a lot
Yeah.
of commonalities you have. I was just like, oh yeah,
Right.
you're in the know, but we in the
Right.
biz.
Oh, and I'm an ex-Mormon too. So there's that too.
There's that. But
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit.
so
Of
she's really knowledgeable. She is knowledgeable. I love that. Intuitive, and you've been in the Mormodor. We'll call
the
it
Mormodor. Yep.
Mormodor.
Yeah.
It is
My
what it is.
sister-in-law lived in Chandler, so I've been to Chandler a lot. I had stuff stored in Chandler for a long time in a shed there.
Wow. Melanie
Gets
give
crazy
too.
hot. Yeah. Yeah. Wow,
Anyway.
it's nuts. It's just nuts.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
And then
anyway,
I relate to you a little bit, not on like, of course, what you guys have gone through is just like on such a huger level. But my grandfather was murdered when I was a kid, so I can understand the
feeling.
What the hell? What the hell? Why did you
Betrayal.
do that? What do you what's wrong with you? Or you
It's
know
a
what I
lot
mean?
of
Like that
why.
whole
It goes down
yes,
to why. Why is the
yes,
one question. Why?
yes. Why? Why did you do that?
How,
I would
when,
love to look
where,
the guy in the
how?
face. Like,
Mhm.
why? Why did you do that? You know?
I
And he's supposed to
don't
serve
think.
life in prison. They let him out so that he could get to know his grandkids. I was like, well, that's rich because I would have
Well,
liked to have gotten to know my grandfather.
oh my God!
So,
Right?
yeah,
That sounds like Angela Wagner.
right.
Her wanting to take a plea deal. Her taking the plea deal so that she can go and reunite with the grandkids that she took their.
Right. Right.
Don't make no damn sense. Mom,
No,
I took their whole
no, it doesn't.
family away because it's just crappy.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry for your loss and losses and
I can't
everybody. I
imagine.
mean,
I just can't
grief,
imagine what it's like for you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you.
Mm-mm.
What did you say?
No. Oh no. I said,
Oh.
I don't know. I gotta get it out. Yeah. This happens a lot.
I am an interrupter as I interrupt you.
I think it's also a delay and it's trauma and it's, I don't know. At the very beginning, I thought it's like I'm having to tell myself, hey, this isn't going to be the last time you're going to talk to whomever, so it's okay. It's okay.
I haven't been live since February. Yeah.
What?
I said I haven't been live since February either. So it's like, it's a little, it's a little crazy.
So, I am answering for Krisha while she and Weird Mom talk. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, moderators, Jennifer. And
I have my tablet plugged in so I can get into the chat eventually.
And Leanne Ferguson. Thank y'all for moderating. Hey, Humanimal. How you doing? Hey, Carrie. Hey, Beach Mom.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha, hello, or aloha, goodbye. I love that movie, 50 First Dates.
Yes. That's one of my favorites.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I do that too, Leanne. I've done it on here so many times. I put my hand over my mouth.
Yes,
So
I've done that too. I just cracked my elbow.
physically
right
not talk. So, where do you want to begin?
Oh, it's up to you entirely. So,
I want to show them. Okay, so what? I don't know. I guess if you can talk while I go and pull up a video about yeah. Hold on. Yeah, about a French press. I just said hold on because I can't think and do it at the same time. So just kind of maybe tell them what got you thinking about it, about the, oh my God, I always want to call it something else. While we're here,
castor
the oil,
beans.
the bean. Yeah.
The castor beans. Oh, well, I was sitting here actually in my trailer in my tent one day. I was just like looking out and thinking about how I had to go get those cleaned up. And it's like, it's very complicated because it's poisonous or whatever. And then it occurred to me, like, poisonous. Okay, wait a second. And we had been talking about the poison quite a bit in all of, different channels, chats, and discussion forums and so forth.
Yeah.
And then I got really curious. I was like, I wonder if that grew in Arizona where she was at. And I found out that the castor plant is, what do they call that when it's, what's the word for it when you don't want it around? Lori and Chad Daybell. That's the word. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Effing stain.
It's not indigenous. It's endemic. Is it? No, it's not endemic. What is it? It's, but you know what I mean? Like when they take over the native plants and you don't want them growing or whatever, but they wind up coming around because people get them as ornamental plants, and that's how they wound up, I guess, getting here from Asia. And they thrive in a tropical environment. They just absolutely thrive in a tropical. You cannot get rid of them. I mean, like you cut them down in the old seed pods in the ground, pop up tons of babies. We can go for a walk right now. I can take you up the side of my property there where we just can't keep them killed,
Yeah. I think
so
that's
then
fascinating.
I got really fascinated with the plant if it had any type of religious connotations, like significance,
Oh yeah.
And
symbolism.
then I found out, oh yeah, oh my goodness, it does. It's actually called the hand of God. It's the believed to be the I think I talked about that in the video too. Like and so
I need to have a link for your channel because she also has a video where she got her antifreeze.
no, it's my cousin, but that's just the name we picked out for her.
I think it's funny. You should have just wanted to know. But and so go ahead because I'm gonna mess it up. I'll jack it all up.
Well, they had that weird ping there in for St. Anthony.
Alex's phone.
Off of Alex's phone when they're in the backyard. And I was like, well, I know from personal experience that there's a dump out in St. Anthony. And if you go the back roads and stuff and you drive like a bat out of hell, I bet he could make it there. And so then my cousin drove. She did not drive like a bat out of hell. She drove like a, law-abiding citizen and still made it. And so, like, with the big truck, how guys with trucks drive. You know how they drive. Let's not pretend like that.
Yeah, we don't speed here.
Yeah, but I was like, speed. She's like, no, I'm not going to speed on camera for you to post on the internet. I was like, smart. Yeah, thinking ahead. Always thinking ahead. Break the law so I can post it on YouTube. Yes, good thinking.
There's that patrol vehicle or whatever that went across right at the stop sign. I was like, oh yeah, that's my luck. I just pulled myself over.
See, what did I say? Like, you're right. Yeah, that could have turned into, if I was in charge of the speed on that video, then that would have turned into how I got pulled over making a Lori Vallow video, part 2 to come,
So it made me think, it made me question, so Alex's phone did ping, in oh my God, Fremont County,
St. Anthony.
Which is like, I just don't know how towers work. It would be a fascinating deep dive.
Yeah. Right.
Just to see
I'm not sure
if it can grab it, if it can, because I know my internet doesn't say, my Wi-Fi does it right now as we talk.
Right. And it can show you in a different weird spot. So
yeah, like I don't know how that works. But then it got me thinking, and I was like, um, first, it because it brings talking about different things, talking about the same thing, talking about it sparks things, and it makes you think,
Right.
and you're like, wait, what, and I forgot what I was going to say just now. Okay, so it's one of them days,
Girl, I'm
obviously.
right there with you. Absolutely.
Crap.
In fact, where's my water? I already lost my water. Oh,
Oh,
I threw it on the floor when I banged my elbow. I remember
you
now.
remind me.
Yep,
You
that's
sound just
right.
like me. You're my spirit sibling too.
Okay, so I live in a tent, so if you get some weird background, like it's a really nice tent though. It's a
Hey,
Alakanak tent somebody gave to me. And it sat there for a long time, and then I was
did you
like,
buy
oh,
it
I'm
from
gonna check
Idaho?
this tent out. No, one of my friends here was like, I have this old tent if you want to, pull it out and see if you want to use it. And I was like, oh, all right. And I kind of set it to the side thinking, I get old crappy tents. And then I set it up and it's like this massively beautiful, wonderful, most expensive tent I've ever had. Like, I
Good
should have done
lighting.
this a long time ago. I was in a pup tent. This one's nice. I can
Tent
stand up in
city
this
all
one.
the way. Are you in a city of
Yeah.
light?
It looks like it right now.
Oh, thank you, Beach Bum. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you, um, okay, crap. I might have to close the comments because I suck. Thank you, Beach Bum. Thank you,
I'm
thank you,
trying to
thank
get
you.
my tablet to upload. So, what is it? Not upload, turn on. I can't even
Okay,
think of the words I want. This is
I
great.
know. Same,
Off to a
same.
banging start. I'll drink to that.
The same word bank.
Mm,
Anyways, do you want me to show anything from your video?
we could show the
Okay.
whole video if you want. I mean,
Well,
it doesn't
no,
matter.
I
It's
do
long
want
though.
people to
It's kind of
come.
long.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, it's pretty. I want to do the intro for sure. I mean, because it's
Okay.
like, oh wow, So I pull that up,
Thank you.
and do you know of? Have you ever heard of being of light before?
The what? Have I
I
heard of the
said,
what?
have you? Okay, I'd always heard that. Oh, you can't hear me. Can you
Yes.
hear me? Oh my god.
Yeah. Your video
Can you
is
hear me
choppy,
now?
but I can hear you. Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
That's because this thing sucks.
Romanakapisai.
I'm just, you know what? I'm gonna unplug it.
These
Try
younger
that
kids
again.
won't understand what that's about.
Payphones. That's what we had. Payphones and pagers.
Yeah, payphones. Payphones.
Hit me
There's
on the
not a
hip.
phone anywhere. You had to go find a phone. Middle of nowhere.
Exactly. Okay.
They used to have drive up
Oh yeah.
phones. I
And you
thought that
always,
was the
your mom
coolest
would
thing ever. Sit in your
make you
car.
with money.
Yeah. Go put the money in.
Oh yeah.
Sit in the car.
With the bag phone.
Right? Yes.
The
Those
bag
were cool.
phone. Yeah.
Oh,
Pull out the
man.
antenna.
Hello.
And you still end up with
Hello,
a.
how are you? Yes.
Oh, I was like,
Like
can you not hear
it
me
was like
again?
this big. They were no, I was imitating a brick phone. Those big brick phones, you remember those?
Gotcha. I gotcha. I'm looking for your video real quick. So I'm not very good at multitasking. I mean, I can. I just can't talk and
I cannot multitask,
make sense.
but I can
I used to be able to. Yeah, I
mess
used to
up.
be able to.
Ooh, did you see that? I stopped that F-bomb from coming out. I'm proud of that right now.
Right.
I almost dropped an F-bomb and I stopped it. Patting myself.
I have my fair share
I have a trucker mouth.
of days. Huh?
I have a trucker mouth sometimes.
Oh yeah, potty mouth. Mm-hmm. Right here.
Yes.
I didn't. I went with my video the other day. I did a live premiere, and I didn't know that it chat. I didn't know it does a live chat, and did it early morning. And Kathy got on, and I mean, I didn't tell her anything, but because I saw it had a chat, and I was like, oh crap, oh crap, and so ended up kind of cool. it's basically what I went over, what we went over last Sunday, but
Oh, yeah?
it was just I played the audio. I just wanted to put it all, more together. So people, I'm a visual person, so just kind of wanted to see if there's people like me. Hopefully not, but
Yes.
oh my
Right.
gosh, I'm having a
We can't be the only
finding
one.
it. Having a hard time finding your channel. Why?
Because I haven't been active, so they bury it
I
in the
watch
algorithm.
right. So
It's from
everybody,
being
please go and
penalized.
subscribe, and I'll give you the link as soon as I find it.
See if I can. I'm going to get into chat here.
Okay.
Maybe. It's coming up very slowly. My tablet's super slow. 4 LTE.
All right.
Okay.
Wait, am I still in history? Is that why? I don't ever YouTube from my computer, so I'm like, okay, it's totally different. Everything looks different. Still, let me do some keywords. How about that?
All right. Okie doke.
Okay. Bam. No, not yet. Really? I mean,
oh, this thing. Oh my. I'm sorry. This is gonna. There. Okay.
I can't.
All right. Now I can see the chat. And I remember to look at it.
Okay, there. Finally got it. Dang. Damn. All right.
I'm sorry.
Like a VCR. Okay. Now. Oh my God, my signal. Jason. I don't know.
Let me get you a signal booster, like one of those signal booster things.
My tower is right there. My tower is right.
That's rude.
I could. It's something
like in your yard. You have to mow around it, still don't get a signal.
I tried this the other day, and so what I was about, because I was sure about to do it. I don't know what to do. Because once I start pushing that video, we need to maybe shut my camera. Also, help save on the broadband thing. All right, so hit stop cam, and then I'm going to present, share screen. I'm going to walk you through it because I talk to myself here. And then we're going to have to we'll mute ourselves.
Lori Vallow has had quite the history of young folks just dropping dead of heart attacks around her. Okay, and other things. Hard look at that. Death is inevitable. We all die. Death in itself is not mysterious. It happens to every single one of us. What is mysterious is how people die that have had a history with Lori. Here we Stacy was before she died. From what I found out, they never figured exactly why. In fact, her death is listed as undetermined. Stacy's ex-husband alleged that Stacy grew to actually fear food, actual food. He would bring it in the house and she would throw it away. By the time she died, she couldn't even eat anymore due to her severe digestive issues. The cause of these digestive issues was seemingly never diagnosed definitively. In the end, she had a feeding tube. Now, Stacy's ex alleged that her own family thought she wanted or was entitled to be put out of her misery. Cope died in San Antonio and her son Colby, Barry and Janice, Lori's parents, and her sister Compartment. That was their probable cause. They discover that Joe indeed passed. His date is listed as April 3rd, 2018. A contentious custody battle with Laura also has sides. These two things alone make it associated with Lori. Now, 2018, Vermont senior tested ricin recipe on retirement. She ultimately pled guilty to possessing a toxin without obtaining a federal approval. This story of an incident was in the news around the same time as as an unexplained death with Lori. In March of 1998, when 3 members of a splinter group of the North American, Lori was not connected to Michigan. Her family was very pro-militia, and we know Barry considers himself a sovereign citizen. This is on their radar, in my opinion. One thing that stands out to me in the Michigan case is that those men needed to find a way to obtain castor beans. And
Okay, this is pissed. He's not very quick, though. I can't even open my comments. Come on. This is freaking embarrassing. Come on, comments. So I can see. Could you start over when you... Okay, can y'all hear me right now? Can you see me? I mean, yeah, it's steadily showing the little Wi-Fi signal like now. So I'm going to have to go and... I'm going to have to go grab Jason. So he's going to have to like work on it in the background. Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing Weird Mom's channel. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I never do. And so I know he's adding some RAM to it after the stream. He was supposed to do it before, but he gets a break for the 2 strokes. I'm going to add Weird Mom back, and I'll have to see if she'll entertain for a little bit while I go and grab Jason and help him into here to help me or tell me. Tell he can tell me. So hold on just one second.
So I have to do like magic tricks? I have
no,
right on my nose. Somewhere.
We see it. It's so big. We see it.
You can see it. You see that it's like one of the curls is like tickling my nose right there.
Love it. Love it. I just know it was cutting out. I could just tell with the little. So I'm going to go grab Jason or go ask what I need to do. And so I'm going to leave you all by yourself here.
COVID. Just kidding. Okay. All right.
Are you okay flying solo for a sec?
I'm good flying solo. I'm going to switch over to this chat area and look at the chat. I won't be able to answer anyone in chat, but I'll be able to see it. I won't. Okay. Show us your tent. Oh my gosh, it's a mess. right now. It's such a pigsty. Do you want to see it from the outside? I'll show you from the outside. How about that? We'll go for a walk. Oh, my body. All right. What else? Let's see. We got. Yes, get the in. I'm going to go take care of my little man. He's not doing well. Carrie Ann, that's too bad. He needs some mommy cuddles. Good night, everyone. Love you, Kresha, Jason, and everyone in chat. I will catch the reply later. The replay. And the reply. Both. Okay. Good night, Carrie Ann. Okay. All right. Oh, you probably can see the top. I'm not even paying attention to what you can see. So that's the top of my tent. It has like a big center pole. And I just hang scarves off it. But it also leaks. So there's plastic hanging up inside. Everything I have leaks. It's just back to life. And then, I have a little TV right there. Let's see if you can. I don't know. It's a mess. I'm embarrassed. Okay, we're going outside. Okay. If I was really fancy, I'd know how to turn my camera around, but I don't. So I'm just going to flip my phone around and hope you can kind of see. So it looks like an army tent. It's cool, like a survival tent. And it's like one of those stove tents that you can put a little camper stove thing in. Okay, we'll go back to chat. Oh, chat with everyone. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. I'm almost to 700 people. I'm excited. When I get to 1,000, I'm going to mail out a coconut because I can mail a coconut from here, apparently. I've never tried it, but I know that you can totally do it. So, well, you know what we could do? We could just take a little walk over here and look at some castor plants. What do you guys think of that? I have a white tent. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have prepper food too. Like, I tried to eat some. And I'm here to tell you that in the apocalypse, when that happens, people are going to be pissed. They're going to be so mad. Because I was like, you know what? I like stroganoff. I'll try some stroganoff. And then I open up the stroganoff, rancid. Open up the strawberries, black. Everything I've tried to open up so far, nasty. Like, they did not do it right. And I've tried 3 different brands now. So, I don't know. That stuff has been stored very carefully. Like gold. Like the gold it was believed to be. And it's gross. If that's all you got to eat in the end of the world, you're screwed. You're going to get a lot of heartburn. Oh, let me go back to the chat here. Humanimal was one of my first subscribers. All right, we're walking through the jungle area here. Try and get out here without breaking my leg live on YouTube. Awkward. Okay. All right. Well, now we've got them all good and killed off. Oh, there's one right there. Boom. So see, they just, boom. They just grow everywhere. We had a big crop of them that came up the middle. I think someone used chemicals. I hate that. I try to be very organic, but it's also poisonous. So what do you do? All right, going back to the chat here. Pop-Tarts are considered prepper food. They last forever.
I love Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, so
hey,
those...
I hooked Jason's phone up, hopefully, and I had to tether it, and
boost
he
it.
has an Android. I don't.
Right.
All right. Hopefully, I don't see my little signal. My Thundercat. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I had to mess with all kinds of stuff. Poor thing. I took his phone. Oh, there's the Wi-Fi signal again. Every time I see the little, the Wi-Fi symbol.
Yes.
This round on top.
The beautiful
Every
little,
time I see it,
the little rainbow of I'm going to get a signal now.
Good. Yeah, that means it's no bueno.
Right.
So I'm trying. I don't know.
Oh,
One
I can't
day.
go over here because the generator. I was going to walk down that way, but I forgot I turned the generator on. Oh, look, there's your little friend.
Oh yeah. You always have roosters too.
Yes.
So I want
The
to.
chicken is the state bird of Hawaii. They lie and say it's something else, you know, but they're everywhere. They're a menace. I've gone the rounds with chickens. Like, I'd have a big, beautiful garden if it wasn't for chickens. Like, the things I have done and experimented with just to try to get the damn chickens under control is ridiculous.
Oh
They've
my
eaten some
gosh.
premium seeds, you know, thanks to me.
Right.
They plant a
Okay.
garden, they go dig
Here.
it right back up. Okay.
So I have
I'm
this.
back.
I
My
can
hair
read.
looks great now.
I printed this to read about a case of castor bean poisoning. Right. So I'm going to read it or some of it. Okay. Castor beans sometimes used. Actually, I got my reader to read it because I can't pronounce all them. Fungi, guy, whatever. So let me just do that instead. Oh, let me hook my little speaker up because it sounded good when I played the audio from it last time.
I'm pretty sure the stuff I use on my
device not found.
Better find my device. Hooker.
pretty sure the stuff I use in my hair currently has castor in it. Castor oil.
Right. So me and Jason were talking, right? And castor oil, I remember telling me to, about to pop with my something's like, oh my god, I remember that.
The way you were cutting out, I couldn't. I'm sorry.
I remembered. Oh my god. Why? F you, Zelima. F you.
Right? It's the volcano is what it is.
I'm gonna go get an antenna, just a whole damn antenna. I don't know. Get a satellite.
Some tinfoil.
Dish.
Make some rabbit ears. Maybe a tinfoil hat would help at this point. You know, we don't know.
I mean, I'm
tinfoil
ready. I'll
hat
do
with
it.
Up rabbit ears.
Because that sucks. I mean, come on now. How much? Never mind. I was gonna ask how much opposition one person can get.
Yeah.
I didn't. I said I was gonna ask.
I put my phone down.
Yeah. Okay, fine. It's connected. All right. Let me get to it.
The angle just makes me look so much larger.
Hey, boo. You're fine. Okay. Oh, don't start acting like a donkey. Please.
I brought several items to help hold my phone in here next to me, and none of them worked, so I'm just holding it with my hand.
What?
Okay.
Wait, what?
I thought you called.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I mean, I'm still kind of it's showing my little satellite. Yeah. I mean, my Wi-Fi thing, so I don't even know if I have it right.
You don't.
Aloha, Jason.
Let's while you're right here.
Move your tower over here.
Okay, it's right there.
And put your hard line back in.
No, it sucked with the hard line.
That's because it's trying to run the hard line and the Wi-Fi at the same time.
What's wrong?
The Wi-Fi. Your Wi-Fi signal.
I don't know. It just shows the signal strength. I guess that's what I need to call it. I'm sorry.
Yes, but if it's showing that it's trying to connect to it, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Hold on.
Hello, everybody. I'm just not dressed all the way.
Yeah, he has a shoulder brace on and no shirt. So I'm gonna turn my camera off and I'm gonna be making a little noise. I'm gonna be hovering over the computer, so nobody wants to see all that. So hold on just a second. We're going back. Okay, but I'm still here. Hardline. Where's that? Let me mute it. That way I can freaking focus. I might slip out.
Okay, I'll go over here and see what everybody's saying. What do we got here? Sun just went down in Phoenix at 6 p.m. Yeah, it's 3:07 here. It's nice and hot. When my sister-in-law and brother-in-law were there, they were 6 hours behind us in the east, right, for part of the year. And then the other part of the year, it's 5 hours because of that weird daylight savings time thing that you all in the mainland do, and we do not do here. So we have to keep track of how far away you are and do math twice a year, like adjust the math. Anyway, I'm gonna just, okay. Jason, right? Jason's on the scene. It's gonna be okay now. It's gonna be okay now. Okay. 11:06 in Brisbane. 11:06 Monday. You're tomorrow, right? We're talking to you from the future, right? I should be doing homework and listening, not sitting on the bum and reading the chat. The hours I have spent in YouTube when I should be doing something else. Does it have to be a specific type of castor oil, like organic or anything? Okay, so castor oil is not toxic. The toxin ricin comes from the processing of castor beans to use for castor oil. So it's like the leavings. It's something in the breaking of the nuts and separating that inner nut from the shell. So you're from Kansas City, where Dr. Deborah Green poisoned her husband with castor beans. She burned her house down with her kids in it. Yes. I actually just sent a link of that to Gresha yesterday. It will clear hairballs from a cat and is used for constipation. Oh, back in the olden days, it was used for a lot of stuff. And it was in a lot of like the snake oils and stuff. They were just like some castor oil, a little bit of coke, and boom, Bob's your uncle. But yeah, folks that are, of the old school variety had to take that as a kid. You don't do daylight savings in Queensland either, right? Yeah, it's stupid. Just me, it's in the hole, that thin little inside part between the oil and the outer hole. I'm sure I could probably go out there and find a castor bean, but I'm scared of them because of that hole, Yeah. Yes, Monday, you are in the future. 5:08 in Oregon. All right. Oregon. I love Oregon. Jason, that was horrible. Oh, Jean, that was horrible. Okay, see my glasses these are not prescription, they're just readers. I love that humanimal, says Jennifer. Howdy, Jason, sending well wishes. Right? The winning lotto? We don't get the lotto here either. I'm with you. We have no lotto here, and so it's just not even fair. Beach bum. Okay, I'm gonna go make some dinner. Good night, all. All right, good night, AJ. What are we having for dinner? First, you gotta tell us what you're making. No, I'm just kidding. I'm bossy. All right. My sister-in-law, Judy, is an MD. She worked with Dr. Green in Kansas City, Missouri. All right. How's it looking, Kresha? That's looking good. It's going to work. Now it's going to work. I have no idea if I'm cutting out or anything with that. Can you guys hear me and see me okay?
Move that way.
Okay, can y'all hear me? Well, you can't see me yet, but I think we just plugged it back into the tower, Kathy. And we had to Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Weird Mom? Can you see me?
Yes.
No, there's the damn Wi-Fi. There's the signal strength again. Oh my God, I'm about to quit. I did.
He's a bastard.
Yeah, I did. I'm about to.
Hopefully it runs for tonight, and I'll get it. I'm gonna have to show you exactly, step for step, how to stay connected.
I don't think I've ever gotten connected, to be honest. Oh, thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
Here goes nothing, huh?
Just make sure the little computer stays on at the bottom. If it goes off, it looks like a monitor down in the right hand
Yeah,
corner.
it's on, but that's. I mean, am I cutting out or anything?
No, your
Have
picture is frozen to me.
But she's
I
right
don't know
next
if
to
it
you.
is on YouTube.
Is
Let
it
me
for
pull up
everybody
my-
else? Let's see. I'm frozen. Okay. I'm just gonna tether to the damn phone.
You look fabulous. It's a great frozen face. You know, I mean, as frozen face goes. Let's
Use
see.
it all. I mean, whatever makes the best for you. And I'll set it up. Love you.
I love you too, babe.
Love you guys.
It
Love
does
you,
sound good, honey
Jason.
man. Well, his speech was so slurred. He was talking in cursive. I'm trying to unplug this cracker. Come on. Okay.
I can't figure out why my tablet's running so slow. It could be because I have 15 apps open. I don't know that for sure, but I mean,
How about now?
Point to guess. Oh, now you're moving.
Okay.
Are you? Yes. All right. You're holding still for a minute. I wasn't sure.
I hate the
position.
effing portal. I hate the effing portal.
The portal sucks, man.
It's not worth the hype, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Good night.
I'm trying to pull the chat up.
I used to say
tablet.
instead of taking the Lord's name in vain, I used to say cheese and rice, and I'd say I'd say Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I used to say it all the time. So here's the kicker.
Yeah.
Here's the kicker, y'all. This is what did it for me. And if y'all heard in that video when 800 years ago when I first went live, they mentioned Breaking Bad, which is something that titled her, did Lori break bad? You want to hear some freaky deaky? Okay. So it was like 2016 ish, 2017 maybe. Uncle Lori. Uncle Charles, Lori, and JJ. I really don't remember much of him that time, but I'm sure he was there. Anyways, that's Aunt Satan. Satan.
Mm-hmm.
That's a church lady.
Satan.
Right. And so
Satan.
my uncle, like, Breaking Bad had come out, and I watched it, and this is not me. I don't normally do that. When something comes out, I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I catch it later. And then I'm like, oh, why didn't I watch it from the beginning? Well, so he had just found it, but I had been watching it from the very first season. And so he even had a Heisenberg shirt on. Okay. He loved him some Heisenberg.
Wow.
That's all he talked about with me over their visit. And I was just like, okay. I was kind of like, all right, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. But he just got such a kick out of it. He was like, oh my God, And the other thing is that Colby and my Aunt Susan, like when my Aunt Susan would go and stay or visit with, either with mom or on her own, her and Colby would watch The Walking Dead. There's two sources, right? Two seeds planted, if you will.
Right.
Is it Castor?
And it's not like she didn't see that stuff on the TV if he was watching it.
Is it Castor?
Is it Castor? The Castor plant, the Castor bean plant. Yeah, Castor bean.
She lived in Hawaii. Oh, I know where that is. The Columbia Zuzu.
Right,
she went.
Right.
Yeah. Did she bring a couple of them little? Whatever.
It'd be easy to do. They're this big. They're
You put them in your damn pocket.
Yep.
When I Googled it, I felt guilty for Googling it because it was like a terrorist thing. I was like, oh,
Right.
oh my God.
I like Googled some messages to the NSA. Like, I am just a YouTuber. So just so we're clear, you know, I know you're probably watching me. I'm sorry. You know, like,
I'm
because I
like,
have Googled some
yeah,
crazy
check
shit.
it.
Some crazy shit. Like, they have a file now.
Me-
I mean, I'm pretty sure they already had a file before that. So they just added it to my file. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Now
what do you
now
do?
it's as heavy as the plate.
Right.
Sorry.
Yes.
I've been
Oh my God.
spitting them. Like, reading this, it just, I don't know. Think about press that was in, I don't remember if Lori, it was in the Amazon order for their wedding attire. And she had also searched, there's Tina, and she had also searched bridesmaid dresses, which threw me off. I was like, what was she planning on having?
Yeah.
What are the sizes? Was one for Tylee? You know, Tylee,
Right.
Melanie,
The
it would tell us a
Melanies.
lot. But then I started thinking
Right.
yesterday about it, and I was like, when me and Jason were planning our wedding, I looked at bridesmaid dresses also for
Oh,
myself.
right.
You know, so I was
Ah.
like, I could go. And so I didn't know if she
Right.
ordered it, and I could ask my mom, but it's in the, I think it's in the dump, in the FOIA dump, but or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, it's been out forever, and it's just something I overlooked. I mean, I don't know. It if it was a snake, it'd have bit me, or if it was a casserole bean, it would have killed me.
Right.
Just
Right.
throwing that out there. But so the French
Oh my gosh,
press
you guys okay
for
about this?
two Mormons who are allegedly homicidal,
Right.
and women are more prone to poison.
Yes.
It's kind of their, you know,
It's a
as
thing.
Lord,
It's a
as
thing.
Aunt Satan would say, it's MO.
Through the years. And you know something else? Mormons in general are prone to poisoning
Really?
factors heavily into their past. I don't want to make
Wow.
anybody
Oh
mad,
yeah.
but like,
Oh yeah.
I
Didn't
sent
Emma
you some articles. Yeah.
didn't Emma Smith poison
Emma
Joseph?
Smith was like, there was like, it was talked about that possibly she could have possibly, you know, slipped a little something, you know, and, but, you know, yeah.
Satan Willow wants to know if the bean's dangerous to touch, and from what I've read, it's not really, but
No,
you know, you're
it's not,
kind of,
you don't, it'll make you sick.
you could swallow
You
it
know, you
whole.
don't want to mess
You
with
could
the plants
swallow
at
it
all. They'll
whole.
make you sick. If
You
you
could,
swallowed it whole and it
you're
never broke in your system, you could
right.
poop it out.
Yeah.
Not to be too graphic.
Well, I mean, but it is what it is. In that
But
video
it
I
is
played
what it
in
is.
the beginning, he said,
Right.
a
Yeah.
little poop noise. So, I mean, so Tina, when Tina emailed me and she was like, I just can't get it. And she'd ran across your video. And so she sent the links to me and like, here. And I was like, oh, I watched them when you first did them. And then I was like, but I'll revisit it. I like to revisit and watch things over again, because what I know now, hindsight, and then you're like, oh my God, everything clicks into place. What the hell is a Mormon, a devout Mormon, who, Lori, a devout Lori Mormon, who, I mean, I don't get it. With her past, with everything that was going on, their frame of mind, ordering wedding dresses and effing poisonous wedding rings.
Right.
And on that same order, I think it was in the search history. I don't think she ordered it, so I don't know for sure. So I can't say yes. And what the hell does she need that for? We know from witness accounts. We know that she liked to crush Xanax and put them in my uncle's drinks, and I'm sure JJ's too, and
brag about it.
Jason's, and crush up, and brag about it, and crush JJ's medicines also. It freaks me out. And so I remember them when they were Hawaii, and they went to an urgent care while they were there. I remember hearing that from, I want to say Nicole Earl. I want to, which I have. I need to. I need to organize those so y'all can see that I have all those. Anyway, so I was like, okay. I mean, somebody who is, I've got records here that she was anti-vax. She for Colby, for Tylee.
That's
I
not
have those
shocking.
papers, where she
Yeah.
opted out.
Lovely.
You heard Uncle Charles say she's not gonna go to the mental health, whatever, the mental check, because they're gonna know she's a translated being, and
Right.
yada yada yada. What the hell
Why would a
is
translated
her?
being need a vaccination, though? I mean, really, if you think about it. I mean,
She cannot die or taste death and bullets and
right?
the
Doesn't
whole
even need to
spiel. Y'all
poop.
know,
If she
ever.
swallowed a castor bean, it'd stay
I
in there
like
forever
pooping,
because,
honestly.
yeah.
So
No one
shame
does.
on her. Good for her. I hope she don't poop. Hope she
Yep.
gets as bloated as I feel.
It's
Anyways,
unpleasant for her where she's at now, I'm sure.
yeah,
To
because
say the
that
least.
food is not very good on the digestive tract, if you know what I mean, at all.
No.
And then you got to poop next to somebody, and
Mhm.
yeah. So
Yep.
it just so the whole mixture of Tina, she ignited, she lit the fire, and then I had been wanting to reach out to the weird mom. And so I was like, okay. And once it's kind of settled down with Jason, I was like, yeah. And so I'm sorry. It's been forever. It's been an hour and 19 minutes to trim the damn thing. But
Right.
Okay.
It's not like you haven't been busy. I
I
mean,
was gonna play this. Okay, so this is reading from it's a research paper from, I'll have to post, I'll type the link in while it plays. Okay. It didn't print it. It's from oh my gosh. www.pcbi.nlm. Oh my god, I can't see it. Oh shit, y'all just saw me almost get myself a paper cut. It's so light. Anyways, it's nih.gov. Okay, it's some gov
right.
stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so
It's
it's legit.
official.
All right, so
Legit, official shit.
I'm gonna mute you.
Okay.
Just wave at me or
I'm gonna
something.
turn my camera off for just a second and take a drink and stuff.
Okay. Well, just mute yourself then. That way you can unmute you. Okay. And then I'm gonna play this.
Abstract.
What? Hold on, Jason's hollering.
Castor beans, sometimes used in traditional therapies, contain ricin, one of the most toxic substances known. It may cause an acute and potentially fatal gastroenteritis in addition to neurological and ophthalmological lesions. Poisoning may also lead to delayed visceral damages. However, the latter is quite rare. The toxicity is dose-related and depends on the amount of castor beans ingested. There is no specific treatment, and symptomatic management to reduce the load of the toxin needs to be initiated quickly and early when a case of poisoning is suspected so that serious complications will be avoided. Increasing the awareness of the population to the dangers of ricin would be a way to avoid the utilization of castor seeds in traditional therapies. Here we are reporting a case of mild poisoning after ingestion of a single castor bean. The patient, who presented at Nizwa Hospital, Oman, fortunately recovered completely as the ingested dose was quite small. Keywords: castor beans, poisoning, ricin, case report, Oman. The castor oil plant, Ricinus communis L., is a plant species of the family Euphorbiaceae and the sole member of the genus Ricinus and of the subtribe Ricinae. 1. The castor plant is native to the Ethiopian region of East Africa. It grows in tropical and warm temperate regions throughout the world and is becoming an abundant weed in the southwestern United States. Ricinus communis is a perennial, erect, branched herb, typically less than 2 meters in height. 2. The beans are oblong and light brown, mottled with dark brown spots. The seed is only toxic if the outer shell is broken or chewed. Ricin is contained in the bean pulp following the separation of the oil from the beans. No ricin is thought to remain in the oil. and it is inactivated during extraction if done under heated conditions. Ingested castor beans are generally toxic only if the ricin is released through mastication. Reports on the ricin content of castor beans vary, but it is probably in the range of 1% to 5%. 3. Purified ricin is a white powder that is soluble in water and stable over a wide pH range. 4. It is a protein toxin, toxalbumin. 5. It is a glycoprotein lectin composed of 2 chains, A and B, linked by a disulfide bond. 6. The B chain is a lectin and binds to galactose containing glycoproteins and glycolipids expressed on the surface of cells, facilitating the entry of ricin into the cytosol. 7. The A chain inhibits protein synthesis by irreversibly inactivating eukaryotic ribosomes through removal of a single adenine residue from the 28S ribosomal RNA loop contained within the 60S subunit. This process prevents chain elongation of polypeptides and leads
There's
to
going to be a
cell
test. I hope you're all
toxicity
taking
resulting
notes.
from the inhibition of protein synthesis, but other mechanisms are noted, including
Do what? What'd
I
you
said there's going to be a test. I hope you're all taking notes on all of that.
say? So,
on that
we
technical
both-
stuff. That's
we
right.
both thought they were.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna mute us again. Or
We'll have
I
a
have to keep my
glycoproteins quiz.
I'm gonna smoke a cigarette.
Okay.
All right, play that.
apoptosis pathways, direct cell membrane damage, alteration of membrane structure and function, and release of cytokine inflammatory mediators. 9. The castor bean plant also contains another glycoprotein lectin, the ricin communis agglutinin, which, unlike ricin, is not directly cytotoxic, but does have affinity for the red blood cell, leading to agglutination and subsequent hemolysis. Ricin communis agglutinin is not significantly absorbed from the gut and causes clinically significant hemolysis only after intravenous administration. 10. There are no literature reports of poisoning from ingesting purified ricin. All clinical reports with regard to poisoning refer to castor bean ingestion. Documented mild to lethal clinical symptoms may result from ingesting 1/2 to 30 beans. 11. 2 castor oil beans were the minimum number found to be associated with death. 12. Symptom onset after ingestion is usually within 4 to 6 hours but may be as late as 10 hours. 13. Initial symptoms are nonspecific and may include colicky, abdominal pain, vomiting, diarrhea, heartburn, and oropharyngeal pain. Hematemesis and melena are reported less commonly. 14. Fluid losses may lead to electrolyte imbalances, dehydration, hypotension, and circulatory collapse. 15. Laboratory abnormalities may include leukocytosis, elevated transaminases and creatinine kinase, hyperbilirubinemia, renal insufficiency, and anemia. 16. Information on allergic reactions to ricin is primarily from persons working in or living near castor bean processing plants. 17. Allergy patch testing reveals an IgA-mediated inflammatory reaction to ricin, although other allergens may be present in the castor bean dust. 18. Castor beans have been used traditionally by women in many countries for birth control. 19. The use of castor seed oil in India has been documented since 2000 BC for use in lamps and in local medicine as a laxative, purgative, and cathartic in Unani, Ayurvedic and other ethnomedical systems. Castor seed and urine have also been used in China for centuries, mainly prescribed in local medicine for internal use or use in dressings. 1. Castor beans have been found in ancient Egyptian tombs dating back to 4000 B.C. According to the Ebers Papyrus, an Egyptian medical text from 1500 BC, Egyptian doctors used castor oil to protect the eyes from irritation. The oil from the bean was used thousands of years ago in facial oils and in wick lamps for lighting. 20. In Oman, this is the first patient we have received in the last 10 years who used castor beans as a traditional treatment for a cough. Case report: a 51-year-old Omani man, neither diabetic nor hypertensive and not on any regular medication, was brought to the accident and emergency department of Nizwa Hospital, Oman, by his son. He was in a confused state after ingesting 3 hours previously one green fruit of castor bean. As stated by the son, he had vomited once at home. There were no other complaints. On examination, the patient was confused, disoriented as to time and place, and was afebrile. His pulse was 108 per minute regular. Blood pressure was 110/68 millimeters of mercury and the respiratory rate was 22 per minute. Examinations of the chest, cardiovascular system and abdomen were unremarkable. He had dryness of mouth and the pupils were bilaterally dilated with sluggish reaction to light. The patient was admitted to the medical ward and treated symptomatically and with activated charcoal. His initial laboratory results showed normal results for renal function tests, electrolytes, liver function tests, coagulation profile, cardiac enzymes, full hemogram and routine urine tests. An initial electrocardiogram showed normal sinus rhythm with T-wave inversion in leads 2, 3 and AVF, figure 1. A repeat ECG after 6 hours showed sinus bradycardia with T inversion in inferior leads as well, figure 2. Computed tomography of the brain was normal. He stayed in hospital for 2 days which were uneventful. His pulse rate returned gradually to normal and his conscious level improved, and he was discharged in a good condition with the advice to evaluate his cardiac status with an echocardiogram and figure 1. ECG showing normal sinus rhythm and T-wave inversion in 52, 53 of figure 2. ECG of patient showing sinus bradycardia and T-wave inversion 52, 53 of treadmill test at a later date. Discussion. In various countries, castor beans are the base of many traditional remedies. Our patient believed that they could treat his cough. Ingested castor beans are generally toxic only if ricin is released through mastication or maceration. 11. The toxicity results from the inhibition of protein synthesis, but other mechanisms are noted as well. 9. The clinical effects of castor bean ingestion can be classified as acute and late effect. In the acute phase, the patient usually develops a gastrointestinal manifestation, while the late phase reflects the cytotoxic effect on liver, kidney, and the adrenal gland, which typically starts 2 to 5 days after exposure. The ricin toxicity affects many of the body systems, and fever may be the major presenting clinical picture. 21. The fever may start 30 minutes to 2 hours after ingesting 1 to 4 beans. 22. The ricin may cause meiosis 14 or mydriasis 23. Both have been reported. In our patient, the abnormality was a mydriasis. It is also reported that the ricin can produce central nervous system depression, somnolence and loss of consciousness. 24. Gastrointestinal hemorrhage due to sloughing of tissue may also be seen in intoxicated persons. 21. And vomiting and abdominal pain are frequently reported symptoms. 14. 25. Elevated liver enzymes and a transient rise in blood sugar were reported earlier too. 26. As well as hematuria, fluid and electrolyte disturbance in association with severe vomiting and diarrhea. 14. A weak pulse is commonly seen, and cardiovascular shock is the common
Alex.
with no direct cardiotoxic effects, but usually secondary to fluid and electrolyte loss. 11. Our patient developed somnolence, mydriasis and vomiting, all of them expected symptoms. Fortunately, they were mild followed by full recovery. The T inversion in his ECG is most probably not related to the ricin toxicity, but the bradycardia that occurred may be due to the beta blocking effect of ricin that was reported only once in 1974. 23. Gastrointestinal decontamination for potentially toxic ingestions includes the use of
It's almost over. Just letting y'all know.
activated charcoal. Treatment in general is supportive and symptomatic. 27. Conclusion. Castor beans contain ricin, one of the most toxic substances known. They may cause an acute and potentially fatal gastroenteritis. Delayed visceral damage is another serious complication. However, the latter is quite rare. The toxicity is dose-related and depends on the amount of castor beans ingested. There is no specific treatment, and supportive management needs to be started early to reduce the load of the toxin so as to avoid serious complications. Although this is the first case in the last 10 years admitted to Nizwa Hospital with signs and symptoms of castor bean toxicity, there is no database about its prevalence. However, increasing the awareness of the population would be a way to avoid the utilization of castor seeds in traditional therapies. Article.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna unmute you. Let me move this. So, interesting, huh? Sorry, I had shared my screen and then I forgot I had put that overlay to go back. So, what do y'all think?
I just want to point out that Stacy had horrific digestive problems way back when, and they just weren't sure of the cause, you know. So.
Definitely.
Mhm.
It's nuts,
Mhm.
right? Okay. And then Tylee, I even have some of her here where the hospital or whatever in Hawaii for her, what I forget what the something to do with the
Pancreatitis.
it starts with a P. Pancreatitis.
Pancreatitis. Yeah. It would
I don't
mimic the
know. I
symptoms
mean,
of
I don't know.
pancreatitis, abdominal pain, severe digestive issues, diarrhea, vomiting,
I'd
that's
have to look pancreatitis up. It fits, especially with the Breaking Bad. I'm sorry. It's like
right?
he's talking to me from the grave.
Yep.
And then Colby always watching The Walking
Walking
Dead.
Dead. Hmm.
That's entry points where that enters the mind. Yeah, and you live in Hawaii. She don't look like anybody
Yep.
that would do yard work, but
It's
she don't
so
look like anybody that
it's
would
such a
murder.
weed. It's such a weed that she could have found it like going on her little walk. Didn't she go on little walks and stuff?
Oh yeah, but 3
And
times a
so
day. She likes everything
yeah,
in 3
so
times a day. Sex too.
yeah, so I'm sure she had like scouted out a few areas where like it grew as a weed.
Yep.
Chances
Yep.
are it did. So I mean, it's everywhere here. It's everywhere. You see it everywhere.
And they
So
over there. That's why they had so many damn environmental points. I mean, it makes complete 100,000, 144,000%.
when I started
It really
researching it,
does.
I was really like disturbed by how easy it was to find too much information on it. So I was like trying to walk this fine line of like talking about it, about, I got this information on it, but not really giving away. But like now that I've done the research on it, I could make it. It's remarkably easy, and finding how to do it is remarkably easy. And it's talked about too much online, and
So, San Willow said, wasn't ricin what killed several posts in 2001? I think so. I just
mhm,
barely read that. And then it was anthrax. It was right around the anthrax time. But Just Me says, that could explain the press? Yes. Because I asked Weird
right,
Mom yesterday, I was like, okay, is it, like, we have pecans. I'm not, she said something comparable to a walnut. And I was like, never really cracked into a walnut. I wanted to know what it would take to get into castor bean. And so she said,
they're about as hard as a walnut.
tell them, yeah. So if you know
I
what
have
a
not tried
walnut,
to break a castor bean,
hey,
but I know that you can't weed whack around them because that masticates them. So like, and I've weed whacked and like, oh shit, there's a castor bean plant. Oh shit, I broke open a bean, and then I get all like, scared.
you know,
So
no.
they do break open. I have unintentionally broken them open. So I
Yeah.
mean, we weed whack with these big blades though. So I mean, there's that, but. And you can be like, say you're moving stuff up, like I was moving some pallets and things up the middle of in between the yards there, and you're grinding around with your boots and stuff, and you can break them like that. So,
Wow.
I mean, they're not easy to break. Like I said, you could step on it, it's not going to break,
But you could whack the shit out of it with a weed eater or weed whacker, whatever you say.
Right.
And it could, yeah.
Grinding around with some force with your heel, boom, it'll crack.
Or go
And then
hunt
that's
for
when
it
it's dangerous.
and put it in your pocket and carry it on the plane and then kill your husband's wife.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yep.
In this lifetime.
Yeah, and then there's just like in the news, like they put too much information out there. Like the lady, somebody had brought it up in Kansas City, Missouri, the lady that had killed her husband and then burned her house down with her kids inside to hide the evidence. And then they're like, but they found her mortar and pestle. Wow. Like, shh. Like, we don't need to talk about how she made it, like, but it's out there, and so, like, there's nothing we can do to stop that flow of information. Yeah. It's already out there, so it would have been easy for her to find, and it's in and out of the news all the time. There was a lady back in 96 that I think it was 96. It's in my video, but going from memory, it was in the 90s. And she like made a little tea and was going to like poison other people in her nursing home. And so she like had brewed it into something you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna play this real quick.
Go into the internet. Google that up.
Google
That's
that
Mike's
up. Yes. Yes.
Go into the internet. Google that up. I'm like, so that
Yes.
always reminds me of, I go back and I like to use their words, right?
Right? Yes. You need one of those like
That
little
and this
Start to
that and
go
this.
into the internet.
Oh my gosh.
Google that up.
Okay, next.
Google that
Start to inquire and plead to obtain and receive.
up.
Oh my
Plead
gosh, right?
to obtain
So,
and
hey,
receive.
Trish.
Receive it like fire.
Nice.
Let it burn you.
That was one thing. So when you went on to Web Sleuths, Joseph, whatever. I can't
Joseph
never
Scott
say it.
Morgan.
Yes, him.
He's so awesome. I fangirl for him. So he's the best.
So I was gonna pull that clip up, in my perfect world, in my perfect mind.
Right.
Anyways, so yeah, in my mind, it's awesome. Y'all would have loved it. Y'all were gonna. And so I was like, but I don't know how to handle that. Should I play some audio of him responding to you, to your theory?
Sure.
Or
Yeah. Yeah.
and Trisha's here, so that just reminded me of that. So I'm gonna go into the internet, Google that up.
Google that up.
Yes.
Yes.
You have it on your playlist on your channel.
I do.
I do believe. I remember.
I do.
You do. Hey, she
Yes,
does.
I do.
She does.
That's true.
Okay. Let me go to your channel. Let me go into the internet. Google that up. Okay.
Go into the
Glory
YouTubes.
Vallow Daybell. Okay, Joseph Scott. I don't know where it is in it, so I'm gonna mute myself for a second while I find it.
All right, sweet. I'll dip back over here to the chat and look at it. I was gonna have it going on my tablet, but my tablet's slow, so we get what we get and we don't throw a fit. I'm happy to have the internet I'm getting. I should not complain. Okay, so Beach Bum was saying how much it wouldn't take much. 2 to 4 beans. 2 to 4 beans. Yeah. And it just completely wrecks the body's ability to uptake protein. And our cells have protein around them, so then that makes it so it can invade your cells and everything. And I happen to have this adrenal failure shit. I have to wear a little bracelet here that says steroid medicated, so I can tell you when your adrenal gland doesn't function, you're screwed and you can die. I literally have to take medicine 3 times a day, or I'll just die because my
Hey.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? Because I'm looking for the. Do you know? Is it towards the end of the video?
The Joseph Scott
Please?
Morgan part, or the when he's answering
He's
me?
from the very beginning. Yeah.
He's right
Do you
on
know
the very
about
beginning.
where the time marker? Okay.
I want to say it's toward
right,
the beginning. I don't know if I remember for sure. Does Trisha remember? Is she still in here?
I don't know. Trish?
Let me look.
If you remember.
Trish? Paging Trish? Paging
Sounds
Trish
like a
to the
deep
chat.
dive tomorrow. Just my life has been nothing but deep dives for the past 3 whatever years. Okay, I'm gonna pause myself and
Yes, Leon. Yes. No immune system. I also biologically just didn't genetically make a killer T cell for some reason, which we found out after I got long COVID. So that's helpful. That's great. All right.
Catastrophic effect. Kind of, the way I think that it's not outside the realm of possibility. I would say that.
And Weird Mom, you had another question for
that out of
into a we're going to go Weird Mom first. Now, let me tell you what Weird Mom has done. She lives in Hawaii, and she has put together, first of all, she did a lot of research into a possible drug that Lori could have used. Again, this is just all a theory, but she made an incredible YouTube video that showed how Lori had access and how she could have used it. And Weird Mom, I'd like you now to just kind of explain your theory and then ask Mr. Morgan your question, because I think this is a fascinating theory.
Well, essentially, in the places that Lori has lived, other than Idaho, castor beans are as invasive as Lori is diabolical. So my video looks at the availability of castor beans for Lori, different methods of ingestion, and the toxicity of each method individually. And then I then tie it back to some possible MOs for Lori and the motive for either poisoning or escalating to murder in each of her alleged victims.
Do you think that's possible, that it could be ricin?
I wouldn't completely dismiss it. And this is one of the problems, you know, with what I refer to, and a lot of people in my field do, as exotics. And this is an exotic. And just so, you know, all of our friends understand, I don't assume anything. All right. When you do an autopsy on an individual, you know, you're going to look at the body grossly. That means with the unaided eye. You're going to do the examination, remove the organs, weigh the organs. You're going to look at them externally, all these sorts of things. But we also draw blood, we draw urine, we draw vitreous fluid, which comes from the eyes. We run a standard panel, which is what a tox report is referred to as in you know, and it's going to cover things like heroin and cannabinoids, benzodiazepine, cocaine metabolite, you know, THC, you know, all the usual suspects. And, you know, of course, alcohol is included in that as well. But when you get to things like exotics, and I'm talking about things like ricin or things like heavy metals, you know, your leads, mercury, arsenic, those sorts of things, that's not something that is going to show up on a standard panel. So one of the things that the only way that you kind of kick this thing off with a pathologist is they have to eyeball something, taking you back to the autopsy now, folks. They have to eyeball something morphologically in the body. That is something that stands out. And you have to think about, well, what precisely would be the you know, the physical manifestation of a ricin poisoning? Well, you know, one of the biggest things is you're going to have like probably a very congested, heavy brain. You're going to have very, very heavy lungs. And as a matter of fact, I would urge, you know, just, you know, be careful where you go, but you can search on the web and actually see images of people that have, you know, died of ricin poisonings, and they'll go into like a congestive failure and this sort of thing. So you'll see these types of things there. There's other poisons that have been generated over the years. I'm thinking classically like that Saddam used on the Kurds, which is sarin gas.
Right.
There's a horrible image of a mother holding her child. They both got a frothy edematous cone coming out of their mouth.
God, that's horrible.
So that's heavily dependent upon what the pathologist at the time is seeing. And the problem is pathologists are humans too. So if they see something, they're going to question this in their mind over and over again. Am I really seeing this, or is this just some kind of wild machination? You know, you know, the old theory, you know, when you hear hoofbeats, you think camel, and that's not necessarily a bad thing sometimes, because you have to think out of the box. But they live a very well-ordered life, and ricin is such an exotic poison. I would pause to say, though, that out of all of these kind of exotics that people could generate, I think ricin would be probably at an elemental level one of the the simplest things, because I mean, even sitting around and chewing castor beans has a certain level of lethality to it, or at least it's very toxic. So that gives you an indication. And castor beans actually, they kind of look like coffee beans. So if you kind of envision that in your mind, that's essentially what it would look like. The question is, was she sophisticated enough to be able to render these things down sufficiently, and what kind of dosing was she using?
Right.
And but that's the long and short of it. That's kind of the way I think that it's not outside the realm of possibility. I would say that.
And Weird Mom, you had another question for Mr. Morgan, right?
Well, I actually have a follow-up to what you were just saying.
Okay.
So historically, the evidence of ricin has always been used in some huge doses and meant to like really affect like a large area, if not just to poison that one person in a more catastrophic way. So is it possible to microdose someone to death with like a less catastrophic effect? And on that note, like would ricin particularly cause pancreatitis like we saw in Stacy and Tylee because it affects like the spleen, the liver, and the kidneys, and that's sort of tied together? Yeah,
I think that it probably could, because it's going to be absorbed, obviously digestively, and it's going to cause this kind of systemic widespread congestion. And when I say congestion, I'm not talking about the lungs being congested. I'm talking about the liver, the pancreas, even the spleen. You'll have this kind of if they're dosed long enough, you'll have a multi-organ shutdown. Now, a lot of these toxins work the same way. Over a period of time, people that are poisoners, tend to dose people, and it's kind of this angel of death theory, where you have somebody that's an immediate caretaker. I'm reminded, if any of you guys, one of my favorite true crime shows of all time is City Confidential. I could watch that show
I love
over
that.
and over and over again.
Yeah, it's great.
And one of my favorite stories that they talk about is the case of Ann Jett from back in the 50s. She ran a restaurant, and she was poisoning. She killed one of her daughters, two of her husbands, and her mother-in-law, and she was microdosing them with ant poisoning, and it was arsenic. And so they would get sick. It's almost like what's the psycho term for it? Munchausen. It's almost a Munchausen's kind of thing. However, it doesn't seem like that. If that's the end result in this case, that it wasn't like a Munchausen's thing. It's almost like a liquidation of people. If you want to follow that line of logic, obviously, and I'll throw in the word allegedly there, because there's no substantive proof of that as of yet. That's why I kind of jumped off and started this off. Talking about Tammy.
Tammy, right.
That's why I'm waiting with bated breath. I don't know what's taking so long at this point.
It's crazy. Weird Mom, was there anything else right now that you would like to follow up with Mr. Morgan?
Yes, I was just curious, what is like the process for the testing? I know they keep they keep really close track of any type of ricin for obvious reasons, and without like giving up too much. Like, does it set off a lot of alarms and whistles? Is it hard to get a sample tested for ricin?
Yeah, and one of the problems, and I'll really generalize here so I don't get off into the weeds legally. Let's just say you have a body that's been buried for a protracted period of time, and it's been embalmed, maybe exposed to the elements, that sort of thing. It's, to the best of my knowledge, and again, I'm not a toxicologist by trade. All right, so that's something that another person brighter than I would have to to answer. However, I will say, if you went back and did hair samples on somebody that you suspected was exposed to heavy metals or fingernail, the nail beds and those sorts of things, that's going to show up. With ricin, it's not a heavy metal. So it's going to be, I think that it would be very problematic to go back and find that. And I think that maybe even in cases of decomposed bodies, it might be difficult. I don't know enough to know what the half-life of it is, and that's kind of its chemical existence, its ongoing existence, you know, after it has been applied. Some of these things, you know, you have to, when you're living and you ingest something, it has a half-life and it kind of cooks off after a period of time through metabolism. And it leaves residual effects. You know, there's probably going to have.
Right.
However, you know, when you die, that kind of freezes in time. However, then you have the specter of decompositional changes that begin to occur, and the body literally. There's a process we refer to as autolysis in death investigation, and the body almost at a cellular level, not almost, it actually begins to digest itself. Oh, and wow. So it begins to break down, and so it becomes very complex. And when we look at, say, for instance, this gentleman's Joseph Ryan's Cox report, you know, that I looked over, Trish had sent it to me. And,
yes.
One of the problems is that he was so decomposed by the time they got to him, and I don't know how many other people have actually read this or seen it, but you'll see that on his report it says liver. Well, one of the things that you have with decomposed bodies is you take a liver sample. Okay, you take like a slice of liver and just, I'm wondering, I'm sure that we've got some medical people in our audience and people that know have some scientific background. If you've ever seen a centrifuge, we have to take the liver, and of course it's, you know, when it decomposes, liver's pretty firm, okay, in life. When you touch it, we describe it as being thick, beefy red. It's the heaviest organ in the body. It can be about 1,300 grams, about 1,400 grams. So you can take big slices of it. Just think of a calf's liver, all right?
Goes good with onions. Yeah, goes good with onions.
Yeah, we're all forced to do it when we're kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, it's one of the most toxic organs in the body because it acts as a big filter to get all this filth out of our body. But at any rate, that's another conversation for another day. But what we will have to do is in the morgue, what they do in the lab after we take the sample of the livers, put it into a tube, generally a plastic tube, and that's sent to, say, the crime lab, and they take it and they spin it down and they liquefy it. And so you can imagine how fast this thing is spinning in order to liquefy a solid organ. And then they draw this up. The problem is this, though. When you draw that liquefied organ up, you can't get a quantitative amount. So, you know, when I'm looking at, say, for instance, Joseph's autopsy report, one of the drugs that kind of stands out there is Flexeril. He's got Flexeril on board. Well, they were able to detect it. And anybody that's had even a basic statistics class knows these two terms. You've got you've got qualitative findings, which means something is there. Okay, right. It's very simple. And then we have quantitative findings, which means it's a measurable amount. Well, they have qualitative findings. They're saying, yes, there's Flexeril there, but we don't know how much. There's diphenhydramine there, right? You know, which is, you know, Benadryl, but we don't know how much. We just know that these things are there. And he had some drugs on board that would give me pause. I think he also had an antidepressant on board, citalopram, I think is what it is, which also works relative to anxiety. I'm sure that we all have family members that are probably on, half the world is on these drugs now, and it doesn't really have a sedative impact, but it it will kind of suppress the system. You combine that with Flexeril, which is a muscle relaxer, and then you put diphenhydramine on top of that, and you've got somebody that's compromised. The problem with this is that they listed this as a heart attack, and I don't know really how far they went with the examination. So
Right.
that's problematic.
When you say they listed it as a heart attack, we're talking about Joe Ryan, correct?
Yeah, just let me make sure I've got my names right. I don't want somebody
Joe
to
Ryan.
test me to hear to. Yeah, I'm sorry, Joseph A. Ryan.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, very good. A weird mom. Anything else? Stay on with us in case there's something that comes up. Okay.
Absolutely. I'll come up with a couple more as we go along. But yeah, thank you so much for answering my questions.
No, I one more thing I want to add to your to what you put forth relative to ricin. Listen, somebody do the math for me real quick. I'm not real bright. I can't remember how long Tammy has been gone now.
A year, about a year and a few weeks.
Yes,
about a year and a month.
Okay, so let's back that up. Let's think about this. She was transported. She had to be transported from Rexburg down to that graveyard in
Springfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, in my experience and what I know, having worked at Corners Medical Examiners, before you can go across the state line, now it doesn't necessarily apply with in-state, but before you can go across state lines, the body has to be embalmed. I don't know if folks know that. And so, a body crosses the state line, and I don't know if they did this or not. I have no idea. I think that it would be really cool to see what if that actually took place there in Rexburg at the local mortuary, because I do know, at least it was my understanding, that the coroner that was in charge of that case, it seems like it came to me that she visited that funeral home and saw Tammy's body. Remember, she never rolled out to the scene.
So you're talking about the coroner.
Yes, I'm talking about the coroner. And so my thought is her body was at a funeral home. So the funeral homes are like florists; they're all in a network. And so the funeral home down in in Utah would call the guys up in Rexburg and say, "Look, we've got a case. We need to get the body embalmed. Do a casket for transportation only. It's not necessarily a casket you can be buried in, and we'll send a car up to pick up the body and transport it back, and have all the paperwork ready." Because it's government, you've got to have paperwork. And so I don't know what occurred with her body up there. So now I'm trying to go down the timeline here. If she was embalmed up there and then taken back to Utah, and we know that she was interred, we don't know what the status of the grave was. I don't know that when and I'm sure that the people with the stadium encrypted. I don't know how well that was sealed. Was she in groundwater, or was there seepage in there? So I don't know to what extent her body was decomposed as she was cryptid.
Right.
Then we jump a few months forward, and they get this order for exhumation. And by the way, for everybody in the West Sleuth family that doesn't know, getting an exhumation order is one of the most difficult things that you can ever do in the world of medical legal death investigation. You have to go before a magistrate, a judge. Sometimes you'll have to appear multiple times because they do not like opening graves. And so once you remove her remains, then they have to be transported. I'm assuming she went to Salt Lake City, and she would be examined. Now, listen, State ME's office in Utah is jam up. I mean, it is a fantastic facility with wonderful people. They're all board certified forensic pathologists. But you're having to go behind somebody and clean up their mess.
Correct.
Months and months downrange, and that's a problem. And that's that brings us to where we are right now. We're a long way down the timeline at this point. And back to, I'm sorry, Weird Mom.
Yeah, Weird Mom.
Weird Mom. Her supposition is that some exotic poison might be used. I can tell you, you're on the right track with this, because one of two things is happening with her body, and I'm only speaking to Tammy's body at this moment in time.
Okay.
One of two things is happening with her body. Either they're having to go to the greatest lengths that mankind has ever known,
Yes.
and looking at every possible sample that they can to try to get it tested, retested. They may know something that we don't know, which I don't know this either. Maybe they're holding back. Maybe law enforcement has told them, keep your mouth shut and don't say anything, because let's keep in mind, Tammy's death now is, this is something that is involving multiple states, as all of these cases involve multiple states. So you guys can just take a guess at who else is looking at this case other than local authorities.
Right.
Because now you've got multiple deaths in multiple states crossing state lines. I don't know who is actually controlling all of these investigations. I know the people in Idaho can't control an investigation in Utah.
Right.
You can't control, neither can they control it in Arizona. They can't control it in Hawaii or wherever else they went around. And when you think back to the kids, let me take you back there for a second. The last time Tylee was seen was in Yellowstone, per that picture, that infamous picture that was taken. Well, automatically, when you're talking about having seen a child last, what is Yellowstone? Yellowstone is a national park. That's a federal preserve. So that triggers a mechanism now. Okay, now we know where she wound up, but where did all this begin? So they've initiated, I don't know, maybe you guys are very bright, but just me, little old me, sitting here in Alabama thinking about this, and I've thought about it a lot. When all of this kicked off, they invoked the full weight and force of all of these governmental organizations.
Okay.
So, and that's the only thing I can think of as to why all of these cases are taking so long to try to, push out information on.
Right, because it's you've involved the federal government, with the parks, and yeah, that's totally understandable. Weird Mom, anything else? If not, will you hang on and we'll continue on?
Absolutely, I'm right here. I'll be right over here, just taking notes and thinking of things to ask this brilliant man.
I know, this is great. One question before I get to Amy, Mr. Morgan. As far as the delivering of the poison ricin, could somebody roll a liquid, with ricin in it on someone's skin? Can they add it to their coffee? I'm thinking of Breaking Bad, Walter White making the ricin. How would you deliver a poison like ricin?
Well, if you're talking about, is it transdermal?
You can, go through the skin, right?
Yeah, that it would be absorbed in there. There are a lot of things that are out there that a lot of these agents that are transdermal. I don't want to go too far down this rabbit trail. I'll give you an example of how foolish young cops are sometimes. I was working a case. It was a biker gang that had assassinated 3 people in a bar, and their target was a barmaid that was selling meth for them. And this was right at the end of my career, and I actually saw a young detective. He was an investigator, hadn't made detective yet. He was about to get his gold shield, and he was out there, and I'll never forget, as long as I live, they had opened her purse up on a pool table. She was laying dead outside the building. And there was what appeared to be at least meth in her purse that was packaged. And he actually picked up several of these packets and was rubbing them between his fingers.
Oh my God.
And then, I had to tell him, I said, look, you might not realize that if that is meth, it is in fact transdermal. So it can be absorbed through the skin. I'm not so sure about ricin, but there's all kinds of, if I remember correctly, there was actually a case, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a case that the Russians or one of the Secret Service in the Eastern Bloc had applied it with an injectable out of the tip of an umbrella, and that's back in the mid 70s. And it's like a tiny little ball that had been created to inject this guy with, So this is something that has been known.
Georgie Markov, Georgie Markov.
Oh, okay, all right, old Georgie.
Go Georgie.
Yes, so it's something that has been around for a long time. It would not surprise me if it is transdermal. But to do something transdermal like that, you would really have to have the right set of circumstances, where you can swab it on or have applied and apply pressure to it so that it's going to be absorbed. There's no guarantee with that.
Right.
There's too many variables like relative humidity, tension of the skin of the person it's being applied to. I think that probably if I were a betting man, I'd look at it from a bowl of oatmeal or a drink. But you would have to. It would require determination. It would require care because you don't want to expose yourself to it. And these beans, when they're crushed and you access this ricin, keep in mind you're creating a histamine with this too. Folks at home, the next time you're in the bathroom, take some Johnson & Johnson's baby powder and just. I mean, all of us that have had babies, over the years, taking care of them. I've got a brand new granddaughter, as a matter of fact. Oh, she's a darling. And I was dealing with baby powder for the first time in a few years the other day, and I actually use this in class, and I use it to talk about everything from histamines to gunpowder with my classes. You'll just put a little bit in the palm of your hand, just gently blow over it in front of a mirror. You'll see how it disperses. And so if you're inhalating this stuff, it can be dangerous to the person that's doing the application. You really have to be aware of yourself, your surroundings, and how you're handling this. And if you're forcefully grinding something up like a castor bean, you've had on over a period of time, you create this little cloud and inhale it at that point in time. And you talk about deadly. Now you're not just ingesting it, you're inhalating it, and it's going directly into your lungs. So it's going to cross that blood barrier very, very quickly. That's why people used to be gassed. We used the gas chamber for years and years. California had it because it's a very quick way to kill somebody. It's why carbon monoxide is so lethal, because it's inhalated. So it's, dangerous stuff.
Right, it really is, and we're going to talk about a couple of the deaths surrounding Lori Vallow, and we're talking with Joseph Scott Morgan. He is, I call him the death investigator. In my book.
Okay, so I don't want to take Trisha's whole show, but oh my God, how interesting! But I want to watch this method real quick. I don't want to play the sound. Show and tell. Yeah, it's lagging because I was searching. And so let me go back to that screen so I can read the beats. As it says, this method I use is not so efficient, but still works. There's your seed.
Those are tiny seeds.
Yeah,
they got here are huge.
So
huge.
I mean, the ones that are big. And I mean, they make this for fuel. Crap. I mean, it has good quality, good homeopathic, uses or whatever you want to call it. How to make castor oil at home, but I don't know. I really think the massage oil. I'm right there with y'all on the for the Vandersloot dude who at the Melaleuca plant. But
Yeah.
and
Actually grew up with his kids. Oh, you're cutting out. There you are.
Yeah. Come on.
So that little thing she did right there, burning it, would have rendered the ricin inert right there. So what she just did, that little flame thing.
Oh, and remember how in Alex? Okay, whoa!
Destroyed in
remember
fire.
how in Zalema's house they found the blowtorches?
Yes.
Well,
they wouldn't want to render it inert though. They wouldn't want it to be inert. They'd want it to be. Oh, here she is with her mortar and pestle. Mortar. I can't ever say that.
Here's your French press, but minus
mortar
she's
and
using
pestle. She's going the Kansas City, Missouri method. Missouri.
Zalema has a background with
herbs and spices and everything nices.
Yeah. And it's from the looks of it, from whenever those, those court records or whatever, it looked like she got a deal there too.
Right.
Patterns, man. Patterns.
Yes. Patterns. Gotta watch them.
Yeah, Vandersloot.
The
I
Lord
think
is in
he's
the
the secret
details.
Santa. I think Vandersloot is the secret Santa in Rexburg every year, and he owns Eastside O.
I think so too. Yeah. He owns everything.
Well, yeah,
he also does all the fireworks every year. The big fireworks display. That's him.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's huge.
Yep.
It's enormous. It goes on for like you're bored. You get bored. Like
he's a billionaire. Straight up.
Yep. I remember when they were still testing that shit in their garage and their kids are coming on the bus with this weird smelling chapstick, like, this is gonna make my dad rich. And I was like, that stuff smells weird, but yes, I'll take a free chapstick.
Oh Lord. But this totally, whenever
they were in
she was
my
burning
ward,
it,
dude. They were in my freaking ward for a little while. Yeah, when I was a kid. Like I grew up with his kids. His children and I went to school together. Rode the bus together. We were neighbors in the beginning.
Yeah.
He came from humble beginnings. Pretty sure I got some of the hand-me-down clothes.
As soon as this is over, when we finish watching her make her crack or whatever the hell she's making,
her Castor
her bomb
there that she's making.
That's the other thing is Chad and Lori's, group, because there's I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
Their outfit or their
little club,
their whatever was in charge of healing, huh? Can you hear me?
I said their fun club.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So they were in charge of healing, and they even said in the Ian's document where they had balm, they could make balm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that has always it bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
They bother me.
Yes.
So yeah, as soon as this is done, we'll go ahead and Kathy sent me a message. She's like, it's been 2 hours now. It's a lot of information. And it was a lot of dead time because of my issues. So my technical issues.
You
but
can't help that.
I really think that you should come on again. And
I would love to. This is great. This is so fun.
And we'll actually hash it out. Let's all think about it, process it, because I still have more to bring out about let me stop sharing. We have more to talk about. I have to reveal to you guys the 7 missions Chad and Lori we're gonna do together. I know where the white camps are, and I know who owns them, and all that good stuff. And I'll take you there. It's gonna blow your mind. So that'll check one box for that, right? And one of the 7 missions. The other one is the translation process. It's different than translating records. So, not a prophet. I'm gonna say it again. Not a Chad's not a prophet. Never. He is a disciple. He is he was till he was excommunicated after the murders. A member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Lori, I don't know. I don't know her status besides, but she's not really cuckoo. I really feel like I've followed my gut in all this. It makes the most sense to me. The second anointing ceremony, you're special, you're exalted. Little Brands, this is for Little Brands, slams her hand, Lori in the text slams her hand down on the table and says, I forget, oh my God. And something, so I don't remember if anybody remembers
what Lori either.
When she'd slam her hand on the table. Hey, Anna Brown, how you doing? So yeah, it makes sense. She's exalted. She's done. Like all she has to do is just finish her life out here. I know she's a little disgruntled about it. So is he. They can't believe that they're, even behind bars. They did, what? And so Rob Wood, it brings me back to Rob Wood and Summer Shiflett when he told Rob told Summer that Lori thinks that everything she did was done in righteousness. And it's like, you can't. It makes the most sense. It's not sacred, it's secret. And it's a problem. It's a problem, even if it has nothing to do with Chad and Lori. Speculative. Just it's all alleged. Anyways,
how can it not though? Because they based everything off of their, I mean, like it has a little bit,
yeah,
to do with it.
And they're zealots. They're overachievers. Chad was extra. Yeah. Even his train stream, he was, putting people down for not being and living in righteousness. So I mean, it fits. Problem solved.
Just because it's a branch. Just because it's a branch does. What's that? I'm sorry.
No, I was like, whenever we get the, after it's adjudicated, if and when it ever gets adjudicated, and how they disclose things, boom, I'm just saying, it's an open shut case. It's done. Like it's set in my mind. It feels right. It sits right. It goes together without it being weird, or I mean, even more weird than Mom here. I'm just saying, it's too much. It's too much. Too many things.
So convoluted.
Put what you remember and want to know. Oh, okay. Kathy says, put what you remember and want to know about it in the comments when the video is over, and I will make sure Kresha sees them. I can filter out the rude people. I can too, but I'm ready to.
Right.
I'm not scared. I just get it. I'm just like, really. And Beth, I've been wanting to say Beth's last name is Baudouin. Just saying. That's how you say it over here in Louisiana. It's Baudouin. And I always just say Beth. I never say Beth Baudouin. Weird last name, huh? It's different. It does not look like it would say
sound. She's got a good sound to her name there, though. That's perfect.
Yeah, she's really sweet. Thank you for being here. Thank y'all for being here. This was good. Besides my normal technical difficulties or opposition. That's the damn devil.
Zuzu. Damn it, Zuzu. Knock it off.
Y'all, yeah, we're going to have to maybe do this again before Sunday. I'm thinking just a little follow-up Q&A. What do y'all think? Just let it marinate. Just marinate on it, and go into the internet and Google it on up.
Google it. Hey, hit it, Sam. Hit the sound bite.
I'm not a good DJ. All
You
right.
need to get you one of those like little buttons,
Oh,
those little
shoot.
button things.
I just went extra. I just went so extra. I went way over. Oh, see, I would screw up a wet dream.
Go into the internet. Google that up.
Yes,
Go into the
That's right.
internet. Google that up.
Oh,
do it.
Start to inquire and plead to obtain and receive.
and this one, y'all, this one, just throwing it out there.
By and large, the Day of the Gentile is an Aaronic priesthood preparatory foundational day. Call it Part A if you want, of the dispensation of the fullness of times.
Spelled with one L.
Well,
It's
that
important.
is a mouthful.
Oh, that's
It's a
not
good thing he
it.
doesn't drink. He wouldn't be able to say
There
that.
is Melchizedek priesthood that is operative.
I took all the breaks out of it in my video, but it's really good to hear the pauses when he says gathering.
People have received ordinations in the Day of the Gentile. But the Melchizedek priesthood will really be manifest in the day that's about to dawn. If you watch closely in your temple endowment ceremony, you can see that the robes represent priesthood authority. Where the robe's placed represents either Aaronic or Melchizedek. If you'll watch the next time you go through the temple and see where you're at and what time represents.
He's giving them, here's what you do. Okay.
By the various rooms that you proceed through, you'll see that what I'm saying is true. And that we're about the miracles, the thing you read in all of the standard works of the church.
Oh, I gotta turn my camera off.
We ain't seen nothing yet.
He was right.
Jeremiah says this, that the days will come when we'll no longer talk about the children of Israel being brought through the Red Sea. You can read about this in the 16th chapter of Jeremiah. All through our written books, our scriptures, the Book of Mormon, the New Testament, the Old Testament, even the Doctrine and Covenants, the premier miracle that people have talked about for thousands of years and still talk about today is the parting of the Red Sea, isn't it? It's the one that
Never.
the Lehi colony referred to over and over again. It's that miraculous deliverance of the house of Israel from the Egyptian armies. Jeremiah says, you're in a day where we won't talk about that anymore. The reason we won't talk about that is the miracle that we'll talk about is the return of the tribes of Israel out of the north.
It's almost over.
And that miraculous return will eclipse, and all of the minor other miracles, sub-miracles that will be a part of that,
here it comes,
will be so dynamic that for generations from that time forward, that's what they'll talk about. And you and I, brothers and sisters, are living in that time when the preparations right now are being made for that to happen. That's going to require a group of men and women who have priesthood power.
Men and women.
That can perform miracles, that can command the elements.
Okay. Command elements. Command elements. Just freaking saying.
Have power over time and space.
They have power over time and space.
And three-dimensional 5 senses of the telestial world will be a thing of the past. We'll move into multi-dimensional space, and many more senses that we don't use in the telestial world will be open to us. You are the group that are being groomed for that. Why do you think you're here?
I mean, why? Groomed. I mean, you know, why? Yeah, why do you think you're here? They know why they're there. They're gathering. I've got so many people saying gathering, and Melanie Gibb was the point person in Southwest region. Jason, it's a recruiting thing. I don't to kill me. That's all I'm saying, because I'm never going to shut up. I'm just going to get louder and louder, and hopefully the channel will grow and I can reach further and further. But they kind of hold stock in YouTube, so there's that.
Well,
There's that. So can't use those keywords, because code names, keywords, all about it. They change them often and call them such different things just to throw people, or in my opinion, to throw people off the scent trail. That's just, I mean, I didn't want to know this. I did not. I tried not to until I couldn't anymore. It's like I'm choosing the victims over an institution all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
That's right. Preach it. Preach it. Hallelujah.
That's messed up. That's messed up. And sadly, Tylee, Charlie, Tammy, and Joe were not the first victims, and they are not the last. And that makes my heart hurt. It really makes my heart hurt. And to know that a powerful $15+ billion church has that much stroke and power and influence. One more, influence. Don't think. It's like in my mind, a picture comes into it, and they're at the golf club. Just hey,
right.
I mean, and I don't want to. It's just like a icky, gross. But I don't like it. I don't like the feeling. I never have. It scared me from jump, or it worried me from jump, and I was like, okay, I didn't understand what Mormons were saying. I didn't pick up what they were putting down, and I was like, I don't understand. And then the denial of the involvement. So, I mean, I remember asking if giving a testimony or testifying was a common thing in Mormonism. No.
What?
So, and I was like, wait there. I would make a whole video.
It's like once a month.
I mean,
literally. I would forget it was Bear Your Testimony Sunday and feed all of my children bacon, and then we would go rolling into Bear Your Testimony Sunday, and that's also Fast Sunday, so everybody all be all hungry, and we smell like bacon, and they're up there just I'd like to bear my testimony, because they're like hypoglycemic at that point, like.
And and Julie wrote, they all like to be a witness. I witness, and you're just like, okay, whatever. I wish I could see it and unhear it, but I can't. So anyways, take all that, marinate, let it marinate. Then me and Weird Mom will talk, and it is scary shit. Let me tell you, Sangha, I already found the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Jesus card in the middle of my living room floor, honey, while I was sleeping and at home alone. Could have took me out, just saying. But not.
But
on my property, we don't have missionaries here. In the middle of my living room floor, alarming. Okay, not pointing any fingers, and they came all the way from about an hour away, because it's a 409 area code with high with my name on it. Google it on up. Yeah.
Google that up. Google that up.
We got a gun after that, so I'll be packing. So anyways, thank y'all for being here. Thank you, Weird Mom, for coming here and doing this with me, and just
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Supporting me and this journey.
Absolutely.
Really
it's been my pleasure, really.
So
I wish we could have met under better circumstances, because I adore you. I love your guts.
I love your guts too. I hate my camera because it's furry, but whatever. I'm used to it. Beach Bum said, Crusher, let us know when you go live again. Whew, me and TS gonna talk. All right, well, y'all take notes and bring it, because we need to talk about it now that it's kind of out there. I know I'm not a good deliverer. Or like in the video when I said gatherer, I was like, I wanted to take it back down and edit it. I was like, well, F it. Whatever. I was a little stressed out. But anyways, all right. Well, thank you for being here, Kathy. Oh God, I always have a list of names like Tylee, Charles, JJ, Tammy, and Joe. And
Oh, Joe, you were gonna say something about his birthday, weren't you?
justice for them, for the victims. I hope this gets it going. Oh, the other thing. I forget who, I think KJ had brought this up a while back. And let me go in my internet and Google that. No, let me just go to
Figure that out.
So we do know that Chad is eventually, he's gonna be indigent any day now.
If not already.
I'm a visionary woman, turns out. And so she had mentioned this a while back, and there's only 28 death penalty certified attorneys in the state of. So we're gonna have to schedule probably another live tomorrow. I'm for sure. You can come on too, but
I'm in.
So I went to idaho.gov and I printed up the list of the certified attorneys, right? And so out of that list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Only 12 are available. Thomas, I mean, like some of them do lead trial, co-counsel trial, lead appeals, / post-conviction, co-counsel, appeal, post-conviction. So some only do like James, whatever, Archibald, he only does lead trial and co-counsel trial. So he doesn't do the latter part. Whereas Thomas, he's only co-counsel trial. So that leaves 26, right? So then from the 26, the ones that are certified in lead trial and co-counsel trial are dwindles down to 12. So we are going to we're going to see who could be the lucky winner. Mr. Daybell's case. Winner. We should draw names. We should do a little contest.
They're all out there. Not it. Yes.
And I printed that out too, Tina. All the guidelines for a death penalty. Yeah, I have it. I'll schedule it for tomorrow because I want to cover it. Yeah, why not? I don't have to be a freaking expert to share Google info.
Right.
With all you competent people. Yeah, exactly. Oh, there you go. That's a good idea. Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Okay. It's on like Donkey Kong. Oh, and I was saying, I think it would have been Joe Ryan's birthday. I think it was Joe Ryan's birthday today. I've been holding on to that for the past 2 weeks. I'm like, oh wait, is it the 27th yet? 27th, and then I was like, oh my God, when I scheduled it, it said the 20th. I was like, oh, okay, good. Yay. I can mention it on. So may he be resting in peace and eternal peace. And may he have his baby girl in his arms, and Lori ain't there to F it up no more. Just saying that's what I'm taking away from this. He's with his baby. He went, whatever. They ain't got to deal with her. So I don't know. That just gave me chills all up in my face and everything. So justice for them. And love always wins. Yeah. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the generous donations, super chats, all that jazz. And the girl 69XYZ is here. Here comes the sex bots. So it's time to go. Love y'all. Love always wins. Bye-bye.